Welcome back to the cosasverdes altcoin and crypto trading show. This is Tim. Today is Wednesday, big pump day on Bitcoin. If you haven't watched my Bitcoin video, go do that first before you watch any altcoin videos, because it's going to help add some flavor to my analysis of altcoins. Here in this video today, I'm going to cover the Polkadot sphere. I'm going to cover Polkadot, Kusama, and MOVR, and we're going to start off with a weekly and then go down from there to establish key levels and things to look for as these inch up as Bitcoin starts making and going towards all-time highs, and what to expect to keep your tits kind of cool here so you can keep a level head and have good expectations in terms of timing on when these assets are really going to start moving. And again, in order to do that, you might want to go watch my Bitcoin video first, turn it up to 1.5 times speed if you want to get through that a little faster, then come back to this video. For returning viewers, go ahead and hit like and leave me a comment down below, even if it's an emoji thumbs up, LOL you suck, whatever you want to do, Cosa Muy Verdes. Leave me a quick comment to help out the algo so I can continue making videos for you. And for new viewers, here's what my channel does. I try to give you that third point in the trifecta of the information that you're getting off of YouTube. First, you're watching news-based and project fundamental-based videos. What my videos do is it adds that third point so you have a better idea of what you're doing when you're clicking around with your money to try to convert you from a buyer and a prayer who blindly just hopes for price to go up, and I try to turn you into a profit pimp slowly using very easy methods. And I have a crypto community, links down below if you want to join that so you can come on live, speak to me directly, turn on your video, even share your screen and show me what you're seeing, and I help people slowly get more comfortable clicking sell and buy so you can have more crypto during your crypto journey. So that's what my channel does for you. And let's jump right into this right here, right now. Let's look at some Polkadot. All right, so right now I have this on the weekly chart. Very similar to Bitcoin, we have two different levels. Bitcoin has passed its first level. So the equivalent of this line on Bitcoin, it's already been passed. So what Polkadot needs to do here in order to start really getting fired up is you need a weekly candle. As boring as that sounds, it takes a whole week, I know, but this week could do it. This week, so see here on the right-hand side of my screen where I'm hovering around, it says 4 days left. All that Polkadot needs to do in order to inch up closer to all-time highs is close a week above $36.03. That is it. And then it can move up and start challenging these candle closures right here. And once Polkadot has a candle closure here, you could expect a really aggressive all-time highs. Now, if you want to take price off and get a good estimate on when this will happen, it probably won't bust through all-time highs until the weekly 10 is higher than where the weekly 10 was here, and then you can get all-time highs. That's most likely what's going to happen, and that might lead us. So if I can take a projection of how high this, how fast this aggressively might come up here. So now you can see that this level is actually above that level over there. So you might not get all-time highs on Polkadot until the first, second week of November. That would be my guess. So those are the weekly EMAs, the weekly 10, because price doesn't like to separate too far from the weekly 10, as you can see. See how every time that price goes above the weekly 10, it comes back down and touches it, comes back down, touches it. Sometimes it breaks through. If it busts right back, what happens? Comes back down and test it, comes back down to test it, comes back down to test it. So right now we actually have a weird amount of respect in a good way. We have a good amount of respect right here on this chart. This chart's looking pretty healthy here. So you can see a big drop down. On the way up, Polkadot price respected the 10 and 21. So the 21's the yellow, the 10 is the red. You need a lot of respect there. So on the way up, it touched it, respected it. Closed at both of them, respected it. Came here, respected it. Went above, came back down. Within this week, respected it. So that's 1 week, 2 week, 3 week, 4 weeks. Then it kept charging up, came back down, 5 weeks, 6 weeks of respect, 7, 8. We're on the 9th week of respect here. So Polkadot really has put in its time. However, most of what you want to be looking at on Polkadot is the weekly chart, because it's going to be the chart to rule them all and really show you when to expect moves up. Now, if you want to do something a little bit shorter time frame, what you can stare at is you might actually need to keep on the 55. So as long as Polkadot price can stay above its daily 55, which it likely will, okay, things will start inching up, inching up, inching up, and it'll this blue line will bust price out of this all-time high here. And if you want to take a projection of the daily 55, see if it lines up roughly with the same date. So look, the weekly 55, make that blue. Let's take off price so you can see that better. take off the other EMAs. So that would lead, that would be higher than there, right? That's all it needs to happen. The daily 55 needs to get about right there before all-time highs, and guess what date that is? So it's the same date, November 8th, that I did on the weekly chart as well. So I'm looking for all-time highs on Polkadot somewhere around, it might take a whole month to get there. So keep your expectations calm, and that's what you can expect. But the daily 55 is getting a whole bunch of action here. But let's say Polkadot starts really moving. You could take off the 55 and use the daily 21. And the daily 21 would probably need to get above this level here. Okay, so just make a projection, up, 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 something like that. And that also lands on the first, second week of November when you could start getting all-time highs. And that would coincide with a week closing above this line here at $44.75. All you need is a weekly closure, then things will really start pumping up. So that should align with Bitcoin closing candles around or above all-time highs, and then Polkadot should really start moving. I think Bitcoin's really going to flex its muscles here and steal a lot of the show until it's completed all-time highs and really closed a weekly candle up there. So stop and again, watch that Bitcoin video if you haven't, because I give you time frames and things to look for on Bitcoin, and that will help you time this and keep your expectations cool on altcoins that you hold like Polkadot. So Kusama, let's go to Kusama here, and let's go to the weekly. Pull up the 10 and the 21. So you have a very similar structure here with two lines. You need first thing for Kusama, what needs to happen is you need a week to close above $435. $435 right here, this line. Until that happens, don't expect much out of Kusama. However, Kusama also has a lot of respect for this 10 building up at 10 and 21, the yellow and the red line. So you have 1 week testing it. Let's make this pink. 1 week, 2 weeks, passed it, came back down, respected it. 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks, 7 weeks, 8 weeks. It's working on its 9th week, so it's really put in its time. And once you get a candle closure above here, I would expect it's very possible. So let's say next week closes. The very next week might close above, and then you could be off to the races pretty quickly. However, what might need to happen is, similar to Polkadot, is you might need the weekly 10 to get above this line first before you get a weekly closure above here, and that could lead to the second week of November as well. So I have about the same breakout time frame for both Kusama and Polkadot. I'm looking for the first to second week of November here, and this might take a month. So keep your expectations around that. Don't expect all-time highs in a few days or anything to that effect. So let's take a look at the RSI here. So this Kusama could take a little bit longer actually, because you just got a weekly rejection under. So see how. Okay, so I'm going to focus in on here, right? This area here. So see how this white line here is the EMA of the RSI. The RSI itself is the green line. The EMA of the RSI is the white line. You just had a rejection, so it's going to have to put in its time and get above and then check it. Here, you're going to have to see something like this. Watch. So I'll make that line white for the EMA, and then what's going to happen, most likely, instead of just straight up, a green line here, okay, instead of just going straight up, what Kusama is going to need to do, unlike Polkadot, because Polkadot is not in this posture, it's going to have to get above, use this, and it's going to have to use this the white line as support to get back up in here. So that's see how it came above the white line, used it as support, and then worked its way. So it doesn't have to bounce this many times, but it needs to get above and bounce off of it at least once in order to start getting your move. And right now it just got rejected, so it's got a little bit more work to do, and it could take until the third week of November in order for all that to happen. So this one might take 2 weeks longer than what Polkadot did, or what I'm guessing Polkadot might. But let's go ahead and look at the daily, see what's going on here. So same thing for the daily. You want to zoom in on here. Kusama's this all might be waiting on Moonbeam to come out, but so see this white line here. The RSI is under it, so it needs to get above it, and the RSI, the green line, needs to use this as support, and it's not quite doing it yet. So Kusama's got a little bit more work ahead of it, a little bit more so than Polkadot. So let's go to Mover here. Mover's a younger asset. One of my VIPs was very successfully trading this range. Let me go to a smaller, so I made this range for him during one of our live calls. And if you want to check that out, you know, what happens is a lot of folks go on there and get my opinions on, hey, I'm trading this, what levels, you know, buy and sell, all that kind of stuff. And I set things up for them live. It's not like a live show on YouTube. It's people, you can turn on your camera, look at me, ask me questions like voice to voice, share your screen, all that kind of stuff. So I made this range for, I didn't make the range, but I drew in the range. And he traded this like a pro. And this was an individual, he's one of my long-term VIPs, an individual who was very, very uncomfortable buying and selling. And now during this, he was able to increase his mover position quite handsomely by buying low areas and selling up on this line and this line and waiting to buy back at the bottom line, just over and over and over. So as you can see here, Mover has fallen out of its original channels that I had drawn here. See these origin lines? Now watch. This is kind of like speculation. You know, what I'm getting ready to do is a little bit of speculation, but it's totally reasonable. See how I thickened up this line right here? Okay. So for Mover to get back just to the bottom of this, see how it put in a bunch of time up here just to get to this line. Let's say it works its way up to this line by, let's say, maybe not that fast. Let's say by middle of October, that would put Mover around $1,600, $1,700. And right now it's only sitting at 300 something. So Mover could really, really, really start screaming here, folks. And again, this might all depend on Bitcoin closing all-time highs. And similar to what I was saying in my Bitcoin video that maybe you haven't watched or maybe have watched, is the time for Mover to come back up here is when Bitcoin is closing a weekly candle above 60K. Then you can expect Mover to move back up to that gray line. And this gray line offered a bunch of support, and it's probably going to act as resistance on the way up. So Mover might get stuck under here for a while, but that's still a big move up to return. So there, I can see Mover making some spectacular gains here coming up shortly. And again, I want to let you know that I do own Mover as an asset. You know, I'm not going to become rich because people, you know, my viewers watching my channel buying Mover. I don't own that much of it, but I want to disclose that I do own some Mover, and I'm going to hold it for, you know, a longer term, at least till the middle of next year. So, so full disclosure there. But I'm seeing a lot of good stuff from Mover here. I mean, it just put in a lot of time. Put in its jail time, and it looks like it might move straight up to $1,600, $1,700, folks. I think it's going to move and race right up to this gray line. Those are my expectations. Now, the time frame for that to happen, it's going to depend on Bitcoin again closing a weekly candle above 60K, and then I think that Mover will start moving its way up. But it's got a lot of work to do on a horizontal basis. It's also got to close above. It's really got to get a close above here at $410. It's got a lot of work to do, and then, so once you get a weekly closure above $410, then you might start your aggressive move up. So I wouldn't expect huge moves out of Mover until a weekly closure above 410. 410 weekly closure. Weekly closure. But in the meantime, while it was being a little boring, you can see that that's extremely profitable in this range. Buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell. Now the day might have ended that the next time it gets above this line, it might just be off to the races. But you can do it until it doesn't work. And as of now, it's still working. So if you want to take a look at these ranges here and try to play this as well, you are more than free to do that. Let me move these over. And this would give you a little bit of practice trading, you know, with maybe, let's say you have 10 Mover, you can just trade it with one. Instead of selling all your Mover at these lines, just sell one and try to get back more, buy it at a lower point. And basically how this works is lines down here are your buys and lines up here are your sells. And just keep buying and selling until it doesn't work. It can be that simple. You don't worry about trying to sell these tops. Doesn't matter because the likelihood of it coming back in the range is very high until it just doesn't happen anymore. So that's what we got for Mover and these three assets. So if you liked what you saw here today and you're new, go ahead and and hit subscribe, hit that bell so you can stay in the know when you're clicking around with your money and have a better idea of what's going on, in addition to watching all your fundamentals and news-based Polkadot information. And we'll see you next time.